Welcome back to the deep dive where we really try to get down to the nitty-gritty of things that, people are talking about online. And today we're tackling a listener request. John, thanks for the suggestion. He wanted us to look into Honey. The browser extension. It's supposed to save you money with coupon codes. But there's this, growing suspicion that it may not be all that it's cracked up to be. Maybe even bordering on a scam, some people are saying.
It's definitely an interesting case. I mean, here's a tool that millions of people use every day, right? And it seems like it's a win-win for everyone, the consumer and the businesses. But then when you start to dig a little deeper, there are some concerning questions about their practices and what kind of impact they're having on, the whole online ecosystem.
Yeah, for sure. And, for this deep dive, we're going to be looking at a couple of really fascinating investigative videos by YouTubers Megalag and some ordinary gamers. So let's start with the basics. Most of us probably know Honey as that little extension that pops up when you're about to check out online. And it just magically finds these discount codes. It's gotten really popular. And part of that is probably because of all the influencer marketing they do.
Yeah. What's really wild is that one of those influencers, Megalag, ended up being the one who exposed some of the potential problems with Honey. He was actually a fan at first. He used it all the time. But he started noticing some inconsistencies. And, that's kind of what sparked his multi-year investigation, I guess you could call it.
It's crazy how that happens sometimes. You're using something, you like it, and then, boom, you find out it might not be what you thought it was.
Yeah.
So Megalag actually reached out to Honey directly back in 2020 with his initial suspicions. And their response, which basically admitted that they get credit for sale if Honey is the last thing you use before buying something. That's really what kicked off his whole deep dive. But I think to really understand what's going on here, we need to talk about affiliate marketing.
For sure. Affiliate marketing basically relies on this system of digital cookies. And these cookies are what track where a sale came from. Let's say you're watching a tech review by Linus Tech Tips, and he recommends the CPU. And he uses an affiliate link, right? So when you click that link, a cookie gets put in your browser, and that tells the store, hey, this sale came from Linus's video. And then because of that, he gets a commission.
Okay, so it's kind of like a digital referral system where creators get rewarded for, driving sales.
Exactly. But what Megalag found was that Honey might be manipulating that whole system. So picture this. You add that CPU to your cart. And then at checkout, boom, Honey pops up, offers to find some discounts. So you click Apply Discounts. And, this is where it gets kind of sneaky.
Yeah, what happened?
So behind the scenes, Honey is actually opening a hidden tab. And that basically creates a whole new referral. And then, get this, they replace the influencer's cookie with their own. So even if they don't find a better coupon code, they've pretty much hijacked that commission.
Wow, that's wild. I mean, are you serious? They're just swooping in and taking the credit?
Pretty much. And Megalag, he tested this over and over again across different stores. And Honey consistently took the commission.
So how did Linus Tech Tips, the guy who recommended the CPU in the first place, how did he not notice this was happening?
Right. Well, in 2021, Linus actually ended his partnership with Honey, and he even admitted that they were losing money because of the way Honey was doing things.
So he did figure it out eventually.
Oh.
Yeah, but it took him years, which just goes to show you how these sneaky tactics can go unnoticed for a long time.
That's crazy. Years. And it's worth pointing out that in 2023, Linus actually partnered with a different company called Karma. And at least from what I can tell, they offer a very similar service to Honey.
Interesting.
Yeah. And, what happened to Linus is a big deal. I have a feeling this whole thing affects way more than just the big-name influencers. What about all the smaller creators who depend on that affiliate income?
Oh, absolutely. Megalag pointed out that Linus, even with, millions of subscribers, he was only the third-order largest promoter of Honey on YouTube.
Wow. That really puts things into perspective.
Yeah.
So it's not just about cookie swapping, right? Megalag also found that Honey has this thing called Honey Gold, which is now called PayPal Rewards. It's basically a cashback scheme.
Right. They introduced it in 2022, probably as another way to make sure they get that last click and the commission, even when they don't have any coupon codes to offer.
So how does it work?
Well, they basically entice users with a small percentage back in points. But in exchange, Honey gets to keep the whole commission.
That sounds kind of fishy.
Yeah. Megalag tested it out in 2023 with NordVPN. He bought it using his own affiliate link, once with Honey Gold activated and once without. And for the sale where Honey got the commission, they only gave him back 89 cents in points.
89 cents out of a $35 commission.
Yep.
89 cents.
That's ridiculous. It's starting to feel less like saving money and more like, I don't know, a scheme to benefit Honey. And it gets worse. In 2023, Megalag discovered something really concerning about Honey's relationship with its partner stores.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
Well, it seems like Honey is giving its partner stores control over which coupon codes they share on the platform.
Wait, really? So they're not actually trying to find the best deal for the customer?
It seems like they're more focused on deals that benefit Honey and its partners.
That's pretty messed up. I mean, they're promising one thing to consumers, but then doing something completely different behind the scenes. Exactly. And it's not just Megalag who's saying this. In 2023, another YouTuber, some ordinary gamers, put out a video saying basically the same thing.
Interesting.
Yeah. They even said that this whole thing could affect the entire online advertising ecosystem, not just YouTubers.
Wow. That's a huge deal.
It is. And it really makes you think about who's really benefiting from these free services.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, we've covered a lot of ground here. From cookie swapping to cashback schemes to control over coupon codes, it's clear that Honey's practices are pretty shady. But what can we as consumers do about it?
That's the big question, isn't it? I mean, we've touched on a few things already, like getting rid of the extension entirely, or looking for other ways to find coupons and being more careful about our data privacy.
But those all feel kind of like individual solutions to a much bigger problem.
They do. So what can we do collectively? How do we push for more transparency and ethical practices from companies like Honey?
Well, I think awareness is key. The more we talk about these issues, the more we share information like the videos we're discussing today, the more pressure we put on these companies to change their ways.
I agree. Knowledge is power. The more informed we are as consumers, the better choices we can make. We can support businesses and services that actually align with our values.
Exactly. This whole conversation has been really eye-opening.
Me too.
I feel like I have a much better understanding of how these free services actually work and the potential hidden costs involved.
It's all about digging deeper, asking questions, challenging the status quo.
Well said. Now that we've really dug into the problems with Honey, I think in the next part of our deep dive, we should talk about some practical steps you can take to protect yourselves and make more informed decisions online.
Sounds good to me. And it doesn't end there. Megalag's investigation also found a case where Honey actually hurt a small business owner.
Oh, really? What happened?
Well, this business owner started noticing that customers were coming in with these coupon codes, but the codes didn't actually exist.
What?
Yeah. Turns out Honey was showing these, fake codes, promising discounts that the store never even authorized.
That's so messed up. I can't imagine how frustrating that would be for both the customers and the business owner.
Exactly. The business owner tried to contact Honey to fix it, but they basically got ignored.
That's terrible.
It is. These fake coupon codes ended up costing the business money and made a lot of customers unhappy, all because of Honey's bad information.
This just makes it seem even more like they're all about profit and don't care about ethical practices. They're misleading people with fake deals and hurting the businesses they claim to be helping.
Yeah, it definitely raises questions about their transparency.
And it's weird because sometimes they do seem to be manipulating the system on purpose, but other times they actually find legit deals without, stealing commissions.
Right. It's kind of confusing. It makes you wonder how they decide when to do what.
Do you think they're, using some kind of algorithm?
It's possible. Maybe they're using a mix of algorithms and, human intervention.
So basically, they're trying to maximize their own profits while still appearing to be legitimate.
That wouldn't surprise me.
And even when they do find a real deal, they're still collecting all this data about our browsing and shopping habits.
Exactly. And data is incredibly valuable these days.
That's a really good point. We might be saving a few bucks, but we're potentially giving up our privacy in the process. Speaking of data, what about that new company the Honey founders started, Pie Shopping? The one with the cashback model and the ad blocking extension.
Right, Pie Shopping. It's definitely interesting. I mean, it seems kind of contradictory, doesn't it? Blocking ads while also tracking your shopping behavior.
It does. It's like they want to control everything, saving you money and then controlling what you see online.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what their real goals are.
Are they actually trying to help users, or are they just trying to make as much money as possible from our data?
It's hard to say for sure, but the potential conflict of interest is definitely something to think about.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the problems with Honey, from the cookie swapping to the cashback scheme to the control over coupon codes. And, of course, the data harvesting. It's obvious that they're doing some pretty questionable stuff. But what can we actually do about it?
Well, we've already mentioned a few options. You can get rid of the extension, you can look for coupons yourself, and you can be more careful about your data in general.
Right. But those all feel like individual solutions.
Yeah.
What can we do as a group to make a real difference?
I think the most important thing is to raise awareness. The more people who know about these issues, the more pressure there will be on companies like Honey to change.
So we need to keep talking about it.
Exactly. We need to share information. And we need to hold these companies accountable.
Knowledge is power, right?
Absolutely.
This has been a really eye-opening conversation. I feel like I've learned a lot.
Me too.
And it's made me think more critically about the online tools and services I use.
That's what we're hoping for.
So where do we go from here?
Well, now that we've explored the problems with Honey, I think in the last part of our deep dive, we should talk about some specific steps you can take to protect yourselves and make more informed choices online.
Sounds good to me. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been spending this episode really digging into Honey, that service that promises to help you save money.
Right. But as we've seen, it's not as simple as it seems.
Definitely not. There are a lot of questions about how they operate and, how their practices affect everyone involved.
Yeah, for sure. Creators, businesses, even consumers.
Right. It can all feel a little overwhelming, especially when something is so popular and everyone's using it.
Yeah, I get that.
But we're not just here to point fingers. We want to give you, the listeners, the tools to make informed decisions.
Exactly.
So let's talk about some practical steps you can take. First things first. If you're not comfortable with what we've talked about, you might want to consider just removing the Honey extension from your browser.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. I know it might seem like a big step, especially if you've been using it for a while and found some good deals.
Right.
But it's important to think about the potential downsides, too.
It really comes down to this. Do you trust a company that's been shown to manipulate the system and put their profits ahead of everything else?
It's a tough question, but it's one worth asking yourself.
And if you do decide to ditch Honey, what are some other ways to find discounts?
Well, there are definitely other options out there. Some ordinary gamers actually suggested using AI tools like ChatGPT to find coupon codes.
Oh yeah, I've heard of people doing that.
It can be surprisingly effective. AI is pretty good at searching the internet. And you can also just do a regular Google search, specifically for coupon codes for the store you're shopping at.
Good old-fashioned Googling, huh?
Sometimes the simplest solutions are the best.
And don't forget, most online stores have a spot for you to enter a promo code at checkout. It's always worth trying a few common ones.
Yeah, like welcome or save 10. You never know. And beyond just finding discounts, it's also important to be mindful of your data privacy in general.
Oh yeah, that's huge.
It's a good idea to regularly check the permissions you've given to browser extensions and apps.
Make sure you're okay with the information they have access to.
Right. And you might want to consider using a privacy-focused browser or search engine.
Those can be really helpful.
They are. They put user privacy first and give you more control over your data.
And if you really want to step up your security, you could use a VPN.
Yeah, a VPN can definitely add an extra layer of protection. But do your research. Not all VPNs are created equal. You want to find a reputable provider that has a good track record.
Good advice. Well, this has been a really informative deep dive.
Yeah.
I feel like we've uncovered a lot. And it's made me more aware of the things I need to watch out for online.
That's what we were hoping for.
A big thank you to John for suggesting this topic. It just goes to show you that even a simple question can lead to a really important discussion. And we hope this conversation has given you the knowledge and tools to be more savvy online.
Remember, convenience often comes at a cost, but there are always ways to protect yourself and make choices that align with your values.
Well said. We look forward to diving into more interesting topics with you in future episodes. Until then, stay curious and stay safe online.